Lear gets us underway for Workington Town. Deep kick which finds Armstrong. He fires it back towards the middle of the field. Oh, what a hit! The ball's gone loose, but fortunately for Lee, it's been picked up by them. But a knock-on has ensued. That was a monster clash right at the start of this game. I'm sure Stevie Scully was involved in that one, you know.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if it was Stevie Scully. In his testimonial year, he's Stevie Scully, so we want to put it out and go out with a big bang as the fireworks are still going out in the background. Wouldn't surprise me if we've got to stop here because these fireworks are still ongoing.
Well, to be fair, I mean, the fireworks, I mean, that was just a perfect metaphor for the hit.
What an opportunity it is for Workington Town to start. Carter feeds a scrum. Jamie Doran comes right.
Yes, and it's fed down this right-hand side further to Will Evans. Will Evans taking on 3 Lee Leopards. He stops about 12 metres shy of the line, about 10 metres in from the touchline. Duran picks up off the deck, fires the ball in to Kane Barnes. Barnes sets himself for a big drive, eventually yields 10 metres away from the line, just to the right-hand side of the post. Workington Town applying the pressure as Duran drops it back over his shoulder, this time looking for the running of Jake Bradley. And the youngster forces his way inside that 10, directly in front of the post now. Workington Town bringing the ball off to the right-hand side. In fact, Duran's dummied. Oh, he scored from a very similar position against the Navy in the last round, and he almost outfoxed the Lee defence there, but he's forced back inside the field of play, and he'll play it 2 metres out. It's fed out to this left-hand side, and the run is a half-decent one up towards the try line. Armstrong getting himself involved in the tackling as well, and just about dragging the man to ground. Duran working his magic from dummy half, wide pass to the left, kick comes in from Galea. Oh, and there was plenty of pressure being put on the Lee Leopards then, who have conceded a dropout. And I tell you what, there was nothing else doing there. They had to concede the dropout. There were so many Workington players that were putting the pressure on.
Jamie Doran so close, Jake Carter so close, and then Lee having to knock the ball dead. It's the perfect start for Chauncey Gawley's side. The fireworks have gone out to our left-hand side. Can Town continue their fireworks following this Lee Leopards dropout?
So the dropout comes, and it just bounces and bobbles over that 30-metre line, collected by Weir, who fires it back in field to Graham. That's a power pack run right down that 10-metre mark. 10 metres in from touch. He's about 30 metres out from the line. Ball switched into the middle. Bradley again carries it strongly, wrestles with 3 Lee Leopards defenders, and he's still managing to weave his way forward. 12 metres out from the line. He'll play it to Duran, who's pointed Weir out to the left. The ball heads that way through Carter out to Weir. Short ball. Again, it's a good one. And Cooper Howlett was on the burst there, and he's held about 6 metres shy of the line. Running in is Scully. Scully, low, hard, held up. Oh, so close for Workington Town. Ever so close to opening this score. 3 minutes gone. And I tell you what, that was nearly the opener, wasn't it?
Nearly was. Town continued to knock on the door. Doran looks to put a little kick in, and it could be another goal line dropout forced here by the Lee Leopards. In fact, it's going to be a penalty instead for the high tackle on Dave Armstrong. And just when Town were knocking on the door, the penalty conceded just to relieve all the pressure. And Adrian Lamb will breathe a huge sigh of relief.
Yeah, he just got his tackle height wrong there just for a second, didn't he? I thought it was, looking like it was going to be good contact. But Workington Town, I mean, you mentioned the fireworks. The fireworks have remained on the field as well. What an opening for them, putting all the pressure on the Lee Leopards, who now, for the first time in this game, get the chance to tap the ball and come away from their own end through Frankie Holton, one of the Super League's top workers last season, with over 800 tackles to his name. Oh, now the ball is dropped by Penne. Tell you what, that was really good defence from Jake Bradley. He stood tall, really put the pressure on, and the ball went loose. So Workington Town back in possession, closing in on 30 metres away from that try line. Scully to play it to Doran. Doran pops it to his right-hand side. Here's Kane Barnes, back in the pro ranks. How good is it to see him back here in a Town shirt? Had a previous stint, been with Seaton last season. Scully plays it out to Carter. Carter back over his shoulder. Again, it's some solid work from Workington Town as they close in towards that 20-metre mark and just a little bit beyond us. Duran feeds it to Guy Graham. Graham gets it wide. Oh, it's going further wide now to Evans through the arms there of Weir, I think it was, who got his hands on it. He's already pointing players back into position. Here's Weir, and then there's a crash ball, and Workington again so close through Bradley. just 2 metres shy of the line. Last tackle signalled here. 4 minutes into the game. Weir put under pressure, slides an interesting kick in. It's picked up by Workington. We're playing on for a second, but it has gone forward. There is an offside, and it's going to be a turnover in the end, and it is an offside penalty.
Yeah, Guy Graham was in front of Don Weir there when Weir had just put the little kick in, but Town continued to knock on the door. But what you see so often in these sort of league, lower level league sides against Super League sides, you can knock on the door, but this professional outfit can take a lot more than say maybe what your lower league sides, your normal opposition would be able to do.
And we've already seen a couple of really cute kicks come into play from Don Weir. I'm hoping that we get to see more of that as Lee crossed the halfway line. Penny this time pots the ball out, looking for Davis. Davis drags 3 defenders in, and Lee now up to 40 metres away from the Workington try line. Lamb picks up out of dummy half, passes on to Louis, then it's out the back to Armstrong, who slips the net, then swerves in field and slides right beneath the post. Well, that was very Bevan French-like, the way that he took the line on and managed to swerve his way through. 6 minutes in, and Armstrong's pace was quite frightening, to be fair.
Now you see him, now you don't. Dave Armstrong, he just stood up, he's seen the gap. Lee just shifted the ball out to that right-hand side edge, and all good fullback should do was their supporting player, able to just utilise the gap, poke his nose through was Dave Armstrong. And as I said, now you see him, now you don't. The speed was frightening, Dave. And Lee take the early lead here at Derwent Park.
They do, and it comes against the run of play for me. The first 5 minutes have belonged to Workington Town. They've asked all the questions, and really the first time that Lee have been able to hold on to the ball, they've got themselves, I was going to say within range, but he still had to motor over from about 30 metres, didn't he? So, he had work to do, and it gives Gareth O'Brien this attempt on goal. O'Brien has got a history of goal kicking, particularly during his Salford days.
Yeah, absolutely. And who can ever forget that drop goal in that £1 million game when he was all 45 metres out? A lot more simpler for him on this occasion, right in front, and the touch judges put their flags in the air. BBC Radio, Cumbria Sport Online, Workington Town 0, Lee Leopards 6. And Town will be disappointed, Dave, and they'll have a right to be disappointed, because they knocked on that door 2 or 3 repeat sets, forced the header from Lee and just not able to get over, and they'll be disappointed they weren't able to keep Lee out on that first set.
I think you came in with a great point just before, Jordan, when you were saying that that's the difference when you're up against different levels of opposition, isn't it? So Workington in a League One environment would possibly scored twice, maybe. Definitely,
yeah.
With the amount of possession. But our Super League defence is a little organised, and it might take a little bit more for Workington to get over. And yeah, I'm sure they will be a little bit disappointed in the way that Armstrong was able to scythe his way through. So trailing by 6 points to 0 are Workington Town. Enjoying the coverage this evening on BBC Sport Online as it sprints up, and Armstrong funnels it back, looking for the big run in there of Owen Trout just beyond the 20-metre line. He'll play this ball to Davis now. Davis in centre field, sends the ball to the right, tackle comes in, it's a half decent one there on Ethan O'Neill. And then they continue to carry on going down the middle to Lee and Milo Hanley, who had a successful transition from the wing to centre during last season. Penny picks up the metres in the middle of the field. Great tackle though by Guy Graham, 1-on-1. Davis is away from dummy half though. Showed to the Warrington defence last week though that you can't take your eyes off him. He gets over the halfway line, last tackle signal, ball on the right hand side, kick comes in from O'Brien. It's bouncing and bobbling, trickling into the backfield. Eventually it's played at and carried in by Workington Town, who are 10 metres from their own line there. Is that Johnny Hutton in possession there? I think he's shuffling off his wing to take possession there. Ball comes out to the left hand side, tackle comes in. Good defence from Lee Leopards, just restricting Workington, and then he snatched at that pass. We play on though. Workington still in possession, ball over on that far side. Carter at dummy half, pops the ball in field. Again, they set themselves for the big drive, and again they're not going anywhere quickly. It's good defence from the Leopards. Kick forward from dummy half. He skewed it, but he could turn into a magnificent kick down this right side. It was played at there by Levi Atiga. And just for a second, he was nearly away.
He was nearly away. It was a skew whiff of the kick from Jamie Dora, wasn't it? Obviously sensed that he needed to get his side clear. And Levi Atiga, if he could have got that offload, Will Evans was aware. I haven't said that on all too often because for the centre, Will hasn't got the biggest pace in the world as Will Evans, but he was nearly aware there. But you can see there the ruck speed and the line speed and how important it's going to be for Workington if they can try and get on top of that this evening, especially in defence, but how important it was for Lee's line speed there, that Town went 4 tackles and made 0 metres, Dave.
And I think as well, again, when you're coming up against Super League opposition, for me it's about where you turn this ball over. So it ultimately, although it ended up an exciting play on the last tackle, probably completely not in the book, it's allowed Lee to take possession just 20 metres away from the line, and Frankie Holton pushing his way forward. He's stopped about 12 metres near to the line. Davies is in at dummy half. Ball's shuffled out to this right hand side. Louis through his hands onto Penny. Penny is tackled inside that 10. Davies picks up, goes to this left hand side now, and Lamb sliding the kick in. Galea has to play a tip, but he's lost the ball and he's picked up, and Lee have gone over. Is this going to be given? It certainly is, and the try has been awarded to Lee Leopards. Wow. 10 points to 0, 11 minutes of this game gone.
Frankie Holton, I think, is the man who's put the ball down on this left-hand side. It was a rush kick. It definitely wasn't, I don't think, in the playbook that they were expecting there, Lee. They just sensed an opportunity and put a kick through. Zadin Galea not able to collect it cleanly. We'll agree to disagree on that one. I think it was Frankie Holton.
I'll go with your eyes, Jordan. Your eyes are...
I just thought I'd seen 11, but we'll keep an eye. I'll keep an eye on the Lead Leopards X-Twitter feed, whatever you want to call it these days. But yeah, for me it was Holton. Obviously the PA systems give it to something different, but it was just that Galea not able to take the ball cleanly, and Holton on Blue, whoever he was on this left hand side, able to collect it and put the ball down. And the Super League side have scored the second of the evening here as it ticks over to just into the 13th minute. Currently Town 0, Lead 10.
One thing that we can confirm is it's going to be Gareth O'Brien once again to attempt the conversion out on this left side of the field, about 12 metres in from the touchline. Taking his time, O'Brien.
Oh no, PA has it right, testing you, according to the League Twitter feed anyways, so we'll go with that.
So in comes the kick. It's a successful one. 12 points to 0 in favour of the Leopards. 12 minutes gone as well.
6, Gareth O'Brien.
And that certainly was expected, wasn't it? You know, when Town weren't able to clear the lines, you know, they were struggling to make metres. When you've given a Super League side a start to play, even if they're going up against the fellow Super League side, if they're starting in your own 30, 9 times out of 10, that's going to become a 4-pointer. And Workington not able to keep it out on that occasion.
He's kicked it out on the full as well. It's cleared the back line, so it's going to be back to the halfway line and a penalty to the Lee Leopards. They're inviting them in.
It is a windy evening here at Derwin Park. I'm just looking to see, no, they haven't even got the flags up on the right hand side. There's just one here in the dark, and you can see how blustery it is in the wind on this right hand side, and it's really, really blustery. And they've elected to take the tap of Lee. They feel confident they can go 50 metres.
Well, I think as well that also probably justifies your comment about the size of the breeze, because they didn't want to go to touch because they might not have made it. But Lee picking up the metres in the middle of the field. There is Trout, all held by 4 Workington Town defenders. 2 of them peel away, 2 of them remain, and it's off down the right hand side with O'Brien, who quickly finds O'Neill, and O'Brien feels that he's been hit off the ball. Referee agrees with him, and it's going to be another penalty, this time to Lee Leopards.
4 penalties in the opening 13 minutes. Yeah, one of them was for an accidental offside and another one for kicking the ball out on the full. But it's something you can't afford to do against any side, really, never mind when you've got Super League side in front of you, Dave.
And to be fair as well, they're all preventable penalties, aren't they? Absolutely. You know, so there was that's now, you know, a high tackle, a tackle off the ball, and kicking the ball dead from the kickoff. You know, those are all things that it's like self-inflicted in a lot of respects, isn't it? So Lee Leopards tap the penalty again. Penne sets off on a little scurry forward, stopped by Scully with a great tackle around the legs. Davis goes short to Trout. Trout running just that line off to the left of the ruck, and the 12 metres out from the line. Davies continues to work at dummy half, passes wide to Lamb. Oh, here's Armstrong again. Gets an offload going to Newey. Newey in field. Keep the offload game going. Do the Leopards. Davies now tackled about 5 metres out from the line. Picked up from dummy half by O'Brien. Nice stepping run forward, but equally strong defence there, and really good work from Kane Barnes, close to the line. Here's O'Brien, gets it wide to Lamb. Lamb puts the step on, but again the defence is good. They'll be really happy with the defensive efforts so far in this set. Can they last another one? It's the last tackle. O'Brien, oh, he throws the dummy. He surges forward. Has he made it all the way to the line? Yes, he has. And that was a bit of individual brilliance on the last tackle from Gareth O'Brien. Just afforded just a little inch of space, and he had the pace and the ingenuity to get through that gap.
Fantastic from Gaz O'Brien, but I think the Town defence and John Gawley will be sat to our left hand side, will be upset that they weren't able to nail him. Maybe a little bit guilty of sort of ball watching there, where Town they were expecting the ball to come either right or left. They weren't expecting the halfback to sort of make that run from Gaz O'Brien, but he's got that in his locker. Any Super League halfback's got that in the locker really, but one with the experience and guile of Gaz O'Brien, and he'll now be looking to tag on the extras to his own 4-pointer and make it an 18-point advantage with just over 16 minutes on the board here at Derwent Park.
Yeah, 3 tries in those opening 16 minutes for Lee Leopards, and for the first 6 minutes it was all Workington Town. How they would love to go back and repeat this last 10 minutes. Meanwhile, O'Brien taking his time. There's a little bit of concern being shown for one of the Town players who's being guided off in back play.
Is it Galea?
Yeah, the fullback. I think
oh, that's a huge miss there. Huge loss. If he can't return, it'll be it's going to mean a big reshuffle out there for Town.
You run so many of your plays through your fullback as well. You know, they're so pivotal to the attacking game these days, aren't they? As O'Brien tags on those extra points, and it's Workington Town 0, Lee Leopards 18.
I'd imagine that who are we going to see here? Is it a HIA? It looks like. I think he's going to give a HIA. So it's Callum Phillips who's going to go out there. I can't imagine it's going to be Callum going to fullback. Although it may well be. It may well have to do. Is it Levi Atiga maybe goes to fullback, Jake, and then maybe Will Evans on the wing, Kane Barnes into centre, Jake maybe put Jake Bradley into. So you can see how many changes I'm having to make because you're having to lose a fullback here.
There's a real shuffle, isn't there?
It's Callum Phillips in that sort of position at the moment, but I don't imagine he'll stay there. But yeah, you imagine it could be Atiga to fullback, Evans comes out to the wing, Barnes into centre, Jake Bradley the second row, potentially Jamie Dore in the loose forward, Callum Phillips to 9. What's that, 5-6 changes we've had to make there potentially? Jake Carter's actually stepped in at fullback.
Yeah, I was going to say it looked like Jake Carter after kicking the ball had slotted in that position. Doran's gone out to the half-back position, and Phillips in the middle of the field. But Lee back in possession, Penny with a power pack run, but equally met strongly round his legs there by Kane Barnes, doing some great work there. Ball fed out to this left hand side, and that's where the tackle and the defence was sprung by Evans. Lee 40 metres out from their own line now, driving forward through Louis. Tell you what, Louis and Newey, you could get a bit confused in this league lineup.
Yeah, I imagine there might be a tongue twisted or a slip of the tongue there at some points this evening.
Last tackle signalled here. Lee shuffle the ball to the left hand side to Lamb, who launches a high kick. Atiga has to shuffle over to collect it, does the job well, takes the tackle as well. 3 Lee players offside, and that'll be like manna from heaven getting a penalty, especially in the position on the field where Atiga's took that ball just 10 metres from his own line.
He done well to take that as well. He initially got himself set and he then had to move at the last moment as he just sort of held up in the wind. So fantastic there from Levi Atiga. And Town are going to make it to just over their own 40 metres, 5 short of halfway, and a much better position to be starting this set in.
Confident kick to touch, and it's Kane Barnes with the first carry, gets over the halfway line. 3 Lee Leopards wrestle with him and force him just back over that mark. Phillips slots into dummy half. Really glad to see him back. What a tremendous prospect he was earlier on in his career, and it's a Equally strong defence from Lee on the next challenge. Phillips again moves into that position, ships the ball to his left. Graham gets rid of it quickly as well. Duran then fires it out, and then there is another penalty to Workington Town. High shot, and it's Lee who are getting their angles wrong now.
On that occasion, it certainly was. It was a high shot. Was it Spencer Howlett, I think, that was taking the ball forward there for Workington Town? As we've just ticked over into the 20th minute, it'll be Jamie Dorton to punch the ball into touch, and Town are going to be starting this just 30 metres away from the lead line. Continue to knock on the door.
And it's a solid run, first of all, through Rio Corkill. 22 metres out from the line. Here's Phillips again, bringing it towards the centre. It was a little bit of a risky pass there just for a minute, but Bradley managed to pick up and still make a couple of metres beyond contact. 15 metres out from the line, directly in front of the post. Workington asking the questions again through Weir. Lovely soft hands from him. Out to this right side with Barnes again, who's heavily involved, and he's proving a real devil for the Lee defence to hold on to. He stopped a couple of metres shy of the line. Ball comes back in field to Weir, who ships the ball on. This is Durant turning the clock back. Step in run. 188th game for Workington tonight, you know. And he used all of that experience. He's Scully just drifting across the front of the defence. Now he's making a couple of metres forward. Last tackle has been reached. Just a couple of metres out from the line. Weir on this right side. Little cute kick. Oh, Atiga plays at it. It's a knock on from Atiga. Unfortunate there. It was a good option, to be fair, but this is a much better place for Workington Town to turn the ball over, isn't it, Jordan?
Much better to be turning it over on Lee's own 10 metres rather than, you know, on your halfway line or even into your own half, as Town have done so far this evening. They're making the Leopards work. They're making them come 80, 90 metres if they want to get any points on the board in this set. More importantly, they're starting to be able to get on the front foot with their line speed.
Definitely, and there they are leading the line once more. Up top is Bradley, last one out of the challenge. Ball spread out to this right hand side as far as Lee are concerned, and Ethan O'Neill all wrapped up by another two Town defenders. Somehow Lee have quickly moved their way towards the 40 metre line, and they've gone beyond it with their latest carry in midfield. But Scully again putting the work in with the tackle. One of three defenders for Town. Trout plays it out to this left hand side. Lamb on to Armstrong. Armstrong cutting through again. Offloads. That pass surely went forward.
Just the 4 yards.
Wow.
I was going to say, eventually, I feel like the crowds give that more than anything. You could tell it was 4 yards forward
definitely.
From the angle we were. So, but how frighteningly fast is Dave Armstrong? And that is NRL pace and power, isn't it?
You know, it's almost like he's playing this game on fast forward at the moment, isn't it? Every time he touches the ball, he just seems to glide across the ground, and then suddenly he finds a little gap in the defence, and he's away, isn't it?
Do you know when you play Football Manager and you can fast forward through the highlights?
Yes.
That's what it's like. Everyone else is on like normal speed, and Dave Armstrong's on ×2 speed. He looks so fast there out the back, and he's going to be a fantastic signing for Adrian Lamb's side.
Definitely, but Workington Town back in possession, driving forward from inside their own 30 metre line. It's a solid defence from the Leopards. First carry up made a couple of metres as Phillips worked it to his left hand side to Corkill. Just a couple of more metres there made by the young centre. They continue going down the left hand channel. Howlett, he's had a lot of traffic in his way early on in this game as Cooper Howlett. Workington Town starting to fight back, starting to offer a little bit of something in the middle of the field. Scully with the latest carry, just over his own 40 metre line. Surely they were holding on to him there. No penalty goes the way of Workington, and they work their way to the halfway line. I thought for a second they were going to try a risky offload, but instead they decide to take the tackle, and it's the last one of the set. So Duran gets his kick away. Oh, it's a high hanging one. He's swirling in the breeze. Armstrong's underneath it. He'll start the counter attack for the Leopards. Nearly trips himself up, but manages to still step round 2 or 3 players and work his way out to the 30 metre line. He'll play directly in the middle of the field now to Davis. He is an excitement machine, but that's a little bit of a worry as far as Lee are concerned. He stood up and he's very ginger on his feet.
You'd imagine any sort of potential issues, even with the early stages, they might just pull Dave Armstrong off if they don't want to risk him anything. You've got Gaz O'Brien who could slot in a fullback. It's another penalty against Town. Not 100% sure what for. We'll find out in just a moment from the signal from our referee out there this evening, Liam Rush. I've had to ask the RFL officials at the ground who was refereeing this evening, because you had a look on the RFL website this week. There was nothing.
No,
absolutely nothing. Didn't know who was coming, who was what, or anything.
I had a look this afternoon, just to try and make sure ahead of it, and I was like, oh, that's unusual.
That's not a good sign, is it?
Like,
they're actually going to turn up, aren't they?
I was like, I hope they are official.
Yeah, well, not the blunder like Sky made on last night during the darts last night, where they said Super League good underway tonight or tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah.
No, so they've got a bit ahead of themselves.
They've got a week ahead of themselves. I mean, I hope it's because they're just that excited.
Yeah, I hope so as well.
Oh.
Is it because they love the rugby league? There is another penalty heading the way of the Lee Leopards here.
Looks like the Lee man has been taken over the horizontal there. We'll run through a couple of scores from elsewhere. Sheffield 6, Wigan 12. Jai Field and Bevan French, who else going over for the Warriors, and Farrell for the Sheffield Eagles, both of them converted. And we're about 17, 18 minutes in at the LNER Community Stadium. York 2, KR 0.
Oh, going to the back pocket. There's a yellow card being shown here
from Guy Graham.
So they weren't happy with the way that tackle was eventuated, and Guy Graham has been sin-binned for that effort.
Just isn't what you need, is it? You're going up against a side anyways. You want a side like the Lee Leopards, obviously Super League professionalism, pace, power, strength and fitness. You don't need to be giving them a leg up. 6 penalties in the opening 25 minutes Town have conceded, and Guy Graham's now sitting down for the next 10, Dave.
Definitely, it's definitely what Workington Town want or need, as Frankie Holton throws himself at the defence, makes it as far as the 20-metre mark over on this left-hand side of the field. He'll play this ball and it goes off to the right, but it's a scrappy play, the ball, and it's going to be a turnover. So they are human, they do make mistakes.
They do make mistakes, they aren't robots. We do see the occasional error come into a Super League game, sometimes a bit more scrappy than others, but they are human, Ali, and they've made the error, and Town will start this 15 metres away from their own line.
Let's see how they can get down the ground. It's a good first carry on this right-hand side. Play the ball to come into Phillips. He picks up Steve Scully with the drive, held by 4 players, but he still manages to make a little bit of second effort and a bit of an impact on that defensive line. Working still inside their own 30-metre line. There's Carter on this right side, again dragging 3 defenders in, and I noticed that Alec Tuitavaki has come on for the Lee Leopards, already got himself involved in a couple of tackles, and is the last man to get involved in the latest stop, which comes in the middle of the field, 40 metres from their own line. Workington spinning the ball down that left hand side. Cooper Howlett, lovely hands from him. Here's Corkill, tries to round his man but couldn't quite escape the clutches of the low tackle. Last one signalled here. Kick comes in under pressure. It was a solid one from Duran as well. Armstrong takes it at the back, so he's continuing, which is a good sign, I suppose, for the Leopards, and perhaps not a good sign for Workington Town.
Yeah, they'd have been hoping they had to leave the field and force a reshuffle, as they've sort of had to do. Of course, Jay Carter deputising at fullback at the moment, as Zadin Galea off with a HIA check.
And here come the Leopards again with the carry. This time it's their skipper Isaac Louis. Another long NRL career there for that man with the Cronulla Sharks. Off to the right it goes with O'Brien. He drops it back over his shoulder for a Milo Hanley. Hanley trying to burst his way forward, keeping some a bit of second effort. I think Workington half helped him with the contact. And it's a fairly quick play of the ball as well. Davis out to Louis. Then it's further wide. Good hands from Lee. All the way out to this left-hand side. And Bailey Hodgson has perhaps a slight doubt of the pass which reached him. But then, they weren't at dummy half. And Town have picked up. Good play from Atiga.
Fantastic awareness from Levi Atiga to notice no one's in there at dummy half. Especially on a 5 and last situation where sometimes you maybe don't have to be as aware because you know exactly where the ball's going. He was fully aware there was Levi Atiga. And Town get the ball back on their own 30 metres and are up now to nearly their own 40.
You know what? I'm glad about that as well. And what it is showing is there's a little bit of complacency creeping in from a Lee point of view. I think in the last few minutes, certainly Town's effort has been much improved, and they're in possession 10 metres away from the halfway line. Great run from Phillips, picks up 15 metres out of dummy half. He is such an exciting runner from that position, isn't he, Jordan?
He really is. Like you say, I've seen it for so many years now, following his initial sort of move to Workington Town from the community ranks at Seaton, playing for Scotland, of course, representing on the international scene at World Cups here. 4 Nations, I think he played in as well here when he was Scotland, that famous night here at Derwent Park.
The famous 18 all?
8.5 years ago now, Dave.
You were joking.
8.5 years, November 2016.
Oh, you're making me feel really old now, Jordan, I have to admit. I remember watching that and thinking, what a tremendous game.
I was here. I was at this end. It was a fantastic night. Back
on this game, 29 minutes of it gone. 18 points to 0 in favour of the Lee Leopards, who are in possession, but are struggling to get forward. Tessie Newey working his way through a couple of defenders there. And it's Frankie Holton making his mark and winning the penalty. High shot according to our match official. And then somebody said something out of turn as well. There's 3 players retreating, and you know, you can't compound things like that, can you?
It's 8 penalties now, Dave. 8 penalties in under half an hour. And you know, the 6-1 saying Guy Graham in the bin. You then, you know, you're trying to slow that, play the ball down. We said how important that ruck is going to be this evening, trying to slow it down. John Gawley's side slowed it down a bit too much there, and then to say something out of turn and put your side in even more trouble by giving away a further 10 metres. It's just something it isn't you need on any evening, any afternoon, especially this evening.
No, and especially when the ball's working wide as well, like it is with the Lee Leopards at the moment. Stepping in from that position on the far side was Hanley to play this ball. He comes in field, straight across the middle. Back now to Isaac Louis. He set himself for a big drive, but it was an equally strong tackle that made him in the middle of that field. Hughes out to Lamb over the top. Oh, that's a beautiful pass, and Bailey Hodgson sails in at the corner. Well, Lamb has been serving passes like that up to Josh Charnley for the last 2 or 3 seasons now, and that was an evidence that 2025 is going to be no different.
Absolutely not. It's just something that he's got in his game as Lachlan Lamb, among a number of other factors, of course. You know, you don't get into the NRL without having some sort of fantastic skill and skills on board there. But yeah, Lachlan Lamb able to get the ball over the top. Hodgson just lying in wait and able to dive in that left-hand side corner. Town may have conceded another try, but good news, Zarin Kalia has passed his HIA and has just rejoined his teammates on the field.
That is fantastic news. As we've mentioned, it can be so disruptive when you lose a full-back in particular these days, with the way that they link everything in attack, and they're also a really important cog in communication in defence as well, aren't they? So that is superb news. I noticed that Jack Stevenson is coming onto the field for Workington Town as well. There's a couple of tired bodies there who have worked themselves to a standstill, who are coming to the touchline now.
Jake Bradley and Jamie Doran are the men to leave the field. Obviously one of them to replace, you know, to allow Zarin Kalia to come back on. So I imagine that would have been Jamie Doran obviously leaving, and Callum Phillips now reverting back to 9, you'd imagine, and then Jake Bradley as well. And O'Brien shows he is human and misses the first conversion of the night.
Yeah, it was a couple of metres in from the touchline. Scoreline remains 22 points to 0 in favour of the Lee Leopards this evening here at the Fibrous Community Stadium. Workington Town hosting this one superbly in the Betfred Challenge Cup. Round 3. One of 2 massive games here in West Cumbria this weekend.
Looking forward to tomorrow. I really am looking forward to tomorrow. Warrington and Sam Burgess. I said it in the commentary against the Swinton game. Sam Burgess and the boys coming to the recreation ground. The potential like Stephen Ratchford, George Williams, Matt Dufty, and I'm missing an awful lot of players out there as well. And just names I'm not even mentioning, but yeah, promises to be a fantastic occasion tomorrow. But this evening, Town have the game back underway.
Yes, Galea sending his kick long, taken in by Armstrong, who fires it into the arms of Jack Hughes. Jack Hughes makes his way to that 20-metre mark. And I noticed that Brad Dwyer is out there as well, so he'll pick the pace up around that dummy half area you would expect, as Ethan O'Neill takes the latest carry for the Leopards. All controlled in that stop, however, by Carter. And funnily enough, I didn't realise Carter was so tall for a halfback, to be fair, because he's gone toe-to-toe there with Ethan O'Neill.
He has, yeah. He's a tall fella. He's Jay Carter, and like you say, especially for the halfback, you look at the likes of O'Brien and Lamb, they're smaller in stature. As Lee coming down this left-hand side.
Yes, and coming through with the centre Tessie Newey getting over the halfway line and a little bit beyond. He'll play to Hodgson. Hodgson has spied a little bit of something, he thinks, but that gap is quickly closed in front of him once more by Kane Barnes, who's working hard from his back row position this evening for Workington Town. Last tackle, O'Brien launches the kick high. Coming for it is Galea, but then it ends up in the arms there of Atiga, and I think our referee has spotted a little infringement there. The ball just working its way forward.
Atiga looked to dive up in the air to collect it. I don't think there was the best communication between himself and Galea. Out to back, I think he'd come off the hands of Atiga, then hit Galea, and then gone back into the hands of Atiga. So it's going to be a scrum down, head and feed to the Lee Leopards, only 15 metres out from the Town line. In just a minute or so, while they're going to be remaining down to 12 men. Guy Graham, of course, sin bin for that tip tackle. Can they hold out down to 12 men while Graham remains off the field?
Oh, let's have a see as the ball gets fed into the scrum. Working to move up. Can they shut this play down on a Myler Hanley? They do. Oh, but it is a high challenge that's gone the way of a Myler Hanley. Another penalty which feeds the way.
So about to see, is it a high tackle or it could have been potentially offside? Just about to see from referee Liam Rush. I think we're going to be, must be for offside, because they're coming back, because they're coming back with the scrum down, and they're going to go and try that play on the right hand side again. It wasn't successful a minute ago. That's because Town spotted it. So with that, I'm making 9 penalties.
9 penalties.
9.
That's a lot to be giving away, isn't it? It's taken at the base by Lee. You scrappily bring this ball down the left hand side. Has it been picked up by Town? No, it's just been recovered by Lee there, and Tessie Newey. There was a real chance there for Town to snaffle that one up. Alec Tuitavaki running forward towards that 10-metre mark. He'll look to play this to Dwyer. Dwyer has many motions off to his right. It's a scrappy play the ball once again.
It's going to be Town's ball. Incorrect play the ball. And exactly what Town needed, especially now they're back up to a full complement of 13 as Guy Graham re-enters the field. So it'll be a play of the ball here. Yeah, they're 90 metres away from the Lee line, but they'll be hoping just to clear their lines and ensure that Lee aren't starting their next set in Town's half.
And you know what? I think over these last 10 minutes, they'll be really pleased with Workington of the effort that they put in. Just the one try conceded. During that period, Lee have had a little bit of a spell, haven't they? Absolutely. Inside that 40-metre mark. Yeah. So there's a lot here for John T. Gawley to work with, I feel, at half-time, and a lot of positives in this Town performance. They're still in possession as Phillips feeds the ball in field. Oh, offload comes in.
Fantastic work from Callum Farrer finding Zadin Galea.
Galea it is, yeah, with that carry. And of course, Farrer, another one of those players that's stepping up from the community ranks. Long time with Loughborough Hornets.
Played a couple of games for Whitehaven right at the start of his career when he was coming through the old Cumbria Storm Academy.
Oh, I remember that as well.
Played a couple of games there, did Callum Farrer. Didn't quite want to make a grade, or didn't decide he wanted to remain at the pro game, and then has been a stalwart at Loughborough now for around about 10 seasons it will be, and now made the move back into the professional game.
Oh, this is nice down the right hand side. Atiga's on the fly. Oh, he gets past one, gets past two, feeds it infield. It's carried forward by Phillips. Phillips, a wild pass towards the middle, off down the left hand side. There's players down all over the shop, and still Workington Town running forward through Hutton. Hutton's popped it out the back. Referee has decided the tackle has been completed, but it is a turnover just 5 metres from the line. Champagne Rugby League from Workington Town as they kept the ball alive.
And you can hear the appreciation from this grandstand on this right hand side. The Town didn't just give in, that they didn't just go for another kick on the 5 and last. They didn't just want to turn it over. They wanted to make as many metres as possible. Fantastic work from Evans and Ortega down this side. Ball back inside. Phillips then, and then a huge swing to the left hand side. The pass wasn't the best, I think, from Cooper Howlett to Rio Corkle. Otherwise, potentially Hutton could have been in that left hand side corner. But fantastic for Town. They continue to knock on the door, and they've turned this ball over just 5 metres away from the Leopards line.
Well, that's superbly encouraging for Workington Town. 3 minutes out from the break, still trailed by 22 points to nil. We've got a stoppage whilst there's a lead player receiving some attention. Bailey Hodgson, the winger. Well, I think he was left in the wake, to be fair, of Ortega during his thunderous surge down the right hand side. I've got to praise Don Weir in that movement as well. So he kick-started it with a cute pass out to the right hand side. But now can Town front load their defence and really put Lee under pressure? Certainly they've managed to do that for the first. Challenge coming in there from Farah. And again, working hard, Workington Town. Restricting Lee inside their own 20. Stepping run forward just helps them to escape that mark. But again, the Town defence is pretty solid. Dwyer onto O'Neill. Offered himself up again, but he's not had much purchase this evening. He's got players right round him all the way through. As does this fella, Isaac Louis. Good solid tackle on him. Stopped 40 metres from his own line. They've run through the tacklers here, Lee. It's great work. And they put some pressure there on O'Brien. This will bounce, it'll bobble. Ortega will take it inside his own line, inside his own half, sorry. And he brushed away from Bailey Hodgson in the first instance before he was flopped upon by Frankie Holton. And one thing that I will say, although he works himself to a standstill, Frankie Holton, he is inclined to give away a penalty or two in holding down.
He certainly is, as Frankie Holton. He's got that in his game, and he showed it there. Third penalty of the evening for Town, and giving them another opportunity now to start in the Leopards half. About less than 2 minutes left to the half-time hooter.
Evans shuffles his way forward towards that 30-metre line, 20 metres in from this right touchline. He'll play it to Phillips. Phillips has Graham alongside him. He'll make a dent in that Lee defence as well, and it's some good yards from him as his leg lifted up. And was that not beyond the horizontal from Hughes? Anyway, he's not penalised for it, so we play on as Carter feeds it on that left side to Farah. Farah on the burst. He's inside the 20, but he'll play it to Phillips now. And Phillips again sends it left to Carter. Carter slides the kick in. It's cleaned up by Lee, who have taken the ball dead. It's going to be a dropout from underneath the posts again. But asking the questions. Really, really good constructive set of 6 there for Workington Town. Getting themselves in a decent position and coming up with a bit of purchase at the end of it.
Continue to knock on the door to Town, and that is something you can give them huge credit for, that they haven't found themselves downhearted by conceding 4 tries against this full-time outfit. And like you say, forcing their second goal line drop out of the evening, attempting to go short the Leopards.
Evans takes it on the full, however. Great take from him. He contested with Bailey Hodgson and won that race, did Evans. Weir in field, looks for the running of Stevenson, was massively impressive in that game against the Navy just a few days ago. 10 metres away from the line, over on this right hand side of the field. Phillips will look to centre this move. He goes to Graham. Graham, just for a second thought of offloading, then he moves his way forward. It's great yards from him. Feels that he owes his side one after getting sin-binned a little bit earlier, and he'll play this ball to Phillips. Phillips, long ball to Weir. Weir, cute play on to Howlett. Howlett slipping the ball out, but it's gone to ground. Played out by Lee, or forward pass in the end there. And they just about hold firm to the Leopards.
Just held the ball there, didn't he? Don Weir just held, and then waited till Howlett was there, and then Howlett just couldn't get his arm free sufficiently enough to get the offload across to what have been Rio Corkle on his left-hand side. Promising play from Town that they've got Lee going to their 6s and 7s, and they're having to dig deep in their defensive bag of tricks to hold out as the half-time hooter sounds, Dave.
Yeah, the half-time hooter sounds. It remains 22 points to nil to the Leopards at half-time. But I've got to say, it's been a half which Workington started particularly promisingly, and they finished really well too. And in between, we did see the 4 tries which went the way of the Leopards. So scoring, first of all, after 6 minutes when Armstrong slipped his way through. Newey going over for the second try after 11 minutes. O'Brien following in with some real twinkle toes about 5 or 6 metres out from the line to go underneath the post after 16 minutes. And then we saw the sin bin from Graham and Bailey Hodgson scoring the try from that lovely lofty pass from Lachlan Lamb. Gareth O'Brien has kicked 3 goals, a functional half, I feel, from a Lee Leopards point of view.
A professional half, I think you'd say, wouldn't you?
Yes. However, Town can take some real positives from that.
Absolutely.
Massive. I mean, you mentioned that mounting penalty count. Those are solvable.
Yeah.
Those are solvable. And on another day, you don't concede that. You applied the amount of pressure that Workington did at the start of the half, at the end of the half. There's points in this Town outfit.
Absolutely. And yeah, despite there being 22-0 down, there is positives there for Town. Don't get me wrong, there's negatives as well. That mounting penalty count, as you mentioned, and that is something that John Tigorley will want to fix up in the second half. He's got his key indicators, his KPIs, obviously his business speak, missed tackles, errors and penalties, and he always says you want to keep them as low as you can. If you can keep them under 30, maybe not this evening, but if you can keep them under 30, you should be winning a game. And he's always got that in his mind. And they haven't had that many missed tackles of Town. They haven't had that many errors. Just that big one at the moment is penalties, and that'll be something that he will have a word about at half time. Well, where have you been? Well, thank you very much for joining us via the BBC Sport app and website. It is Workington Town 0, Lee Leopards 22. Full match commentary via the BBC Sport app or website from myself, Jordan Weir, but your lead commentator this evening, Dave Parkinson.
Yes, thanks a lot, Jordan. Well, we're lining up ready for the second half as O'Brien gets us underway from a Lee Leopards point of view. Workington allowing the ball to bounce, and it's taken by Weir, who ships the ball into the middle, and it's a good run by Farah, that over that 10-metre mark. And I tell you what, he just found himself in a little bit of space then for a second. I don't think he could believe it.
I don't think he could. No, I don't think he could. He could believe it. Knowing Callum, he'd have looked up and gone, oh, what do I do now?
Carter shipping the ball down this left-hand side to Cooper Howler, too. Again, he's going to have some bruised ribs in the morning. He's certainly been given some treatment by the Lee defence. Forward come Town once more, just getting up to that 30-metre line in the centre of the ground. The ball is played to Phillips. A short run coming in from Stevenson rolled over on his back, controlled in that stop by Hughes. Got loads of experience, Jack Hughes. Kick comes in on the last tackle from Carter. It's going to be allowed to bounce this time by Lee, and it's going to be Tessie Newey to pick the ball up. So he's gone shuffled out to the wing on that position for a second, and he's carried that ball forward. So Lee Leopards back in possession at the start of this second half, just a minute in. No change to your half-time score. 22 points to 0 is the scoreline that Workington Town trail to the Super League big guns.
I think Tessie New's out on the wing now. I think Bailey Hodgson's been withdrawn at half-time. We've seen he was getting a bit of treatment. He's not on that far side, so it looks like the man mounted himself, Tessie New, he's out on the wing on that left-hand side for the Leopards.
That's going to be interesting. So I wonder whether that will mean that the likes of perhaps Andrew Badrock, who's played a little bit of centre in his time for both Lee Miners as a junior and at Swinton, will slot out into that position. We'll see how that eventuates. Lee, meanwhile, have got to the end of their set of 6. They're 30 metres away from the line. Kick comes in from Lachlan Lamb. Oh, it's a tester for Glear. He takes it, and he takes it well, and runs very, very sternly towards the 10-metre mark, where eventually he's held by Dwyer and the company. So still inside their own quarter here through a Tiga, a Workington Town, working hard to escape this area of the field. Phillips shuffles it out to the right. Run comes in from Kane Barnes. He uses that big frame to get outside the 20-metre line.
Attention, ladies and gentlemen, with the owner of a Tesla car registration.
Into the middle it comes, Farah. Big surge at that Lee defence again. Gained a couple of metres just after contact. Shuffle left to Carter. Carter taking the line on. Oh, I thought for a second it had just opened up for him. I think so he thought as well. But Frankie Holton came along to stop him, aided and abetted by Hughes. Kick comes in and last from Glear. hoists it long. It's allowed to bounce as well and goes out on the full. Wow.
Just out on the full there. Touch judge down below as Tara Jones signalling the flag that that it'd gone out on the full. And you know, if it had fell 6 inches shorter, it'd have been a perfect kick. Just that little bit too much on it, and it means rather than starting on around the Lee 30, Lee is starting this set on the Town 30.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that for Town, and now they'll have to man the barricades, I suppose, in this latest defensive set. Here's Dwyer, feeds the ball out to Itakavaki. Over that 20-metre line he goes. He'll play once again to Dwyer, who this time shuffles the ball right to O'Brien, who plays it out to Lamb. Lamb through hands, but it's a scrappy pass. And you might be an international player, but can you do it on Friday night in Workington? And the answer there was an emphatic no. He ended up tossing the ball into touch.
First giggles of the season. Can you do it on a cold Friday night in work? And the answer is no, you can't. As the ball found touch. But yeah, good work there from the Town defence to put enough pressure to be able to force the error there from the Lee side. And the reward is to start 15 metres away from their own line.
Yes, howl it with that carry. Did you like that one, John?
I did.
Yeah,
I did.
Okay.
I did.
More to come over the season.
You need to start listening to our Barrow commentator Dan Payne.
You know what? I will do.
Very, very puntastic is Dan. You and him will get along very, very well.
He's already sent me a message on Facebook. So that's to be. Anyway, ball comes to this left-hand side. It's run in by Town, and it's a solid hit up as well. 35 metres out from their own line. Phillips again feeds the ball in field. Farrer meets the defence. Oh, slips the ball out beautifully. Here's Galea. Good run from Zarin Galea up to that 40-metre line through centre field. They just worked a bit of space then. They've worked.
Got to be a 6 again, surely.
Oh, referee's the most patient man here. Didn't give that at all. Here's Town crossing the halfway line. Barnes goes forward yet again on that right side. He's had a magnificent game so far. He'll play this ball to Phillips. Phillips lofts that ball to Weir. Weir gets the cultured right boot on the end of it. And then it's powered in by Hodgson, who's gone to full-back. It's a good run from Hodgson. Wrapped up, but also pushed back by Town.
So it's Hodgson that's gone to full-back, so it's Armstrong that we've withdrawn then.
Oh, well, that's reshuffle, isn't it?
Yeah.
For Lee. Picked up out of dummy half and dashing forward. He's a mile Hanley 5 metres away from halfway. He'll play this ball now to Dwyer. Dwyer just popping it up to Louis making some meters just after contact. There's 4 Workington Town players that have grabbed hold of the former Cronulla Shark, and he'll play it 40 metres out from the try line directly in the middle of the field. Here's Hughes, lovely step, gets the ball out, and Ethan O'Neill backing up O'Brien, and he's stopped 30 metres out from the line. Kick comes in on the last. It's a lofty one. It's allowed to bounce. Oh, and I tell you what, he was very casual there, wasn't he?
A bit too casual was Zarin Galea. He's expecting to bounce the other way, wasn't he? And bounce out. He never let a rugby league ball bounce.
Oh,
He's the oldest rule in the book.
He's obviously never listened to my old PE teacher. So Workington Town back in possession. They've managed to recover from that. And Phillips feeds the ball to his right to Scully, all wrapped up. You know what, I've loved seeing Steve Scully over the last few years at Workington Town. A real solid professional. Ball switched to this left hand side through Carter. Galea handing the ball on to Corkill. Corkill just for a second had a little open pasture in front of him, but it's shut down by O'Brien. It's shut down by Hanley. And O'Neill struggling from a Lee point of view. Workington won't mind, they're keeping the ball alive. Carter following up that little offload coming in from Graham. Having a go, aren't they, Workington? This is great to see.
Exactly what John Sigoli would have said. Go out, make sure you don't do, make sure there's no errors, make sure you can get an opportunity, get yourselves up the field. And as we said, what his opening words would be when they were leaving the field, go out, enjoy it and embrace it.
Barnes is tackled 30 metres away from the lead line. It comes towards the middle. Farrer with another power pack carry. Stopped on the 20. Last tackle has been reached, however, for Workington Town. Where's this ball going to go? It's going on the right with Dom Weir, who angles his kick low into the corner. Bailey Hodgson has to dive for it, and you're a brave man if you're diving onto the floor, because that sort of kicking can go anywhere. So he did really well there, did Hodgson, and it was a decent kick and a decent finish to the set of 6 as well for Workington Town. Score as you were at half time, 22 points to nil, Town trail, but they're rallying and rallying hard. Lee Leopards in possession. Dwyer ducking beneath a challenge, playing for a penalty, complaining to the referee bitterly. He's got to get tackled first of all before he can complain. And then Town working hard from dummy half, but getting tackled, just caught offside in the eyes of our match official Liam Rush.
Just to note that the clock has stopped on the scoreboard. We haven't been at 3 minutes for the last 5. We're around about 8 minutes in to the second half here at Derwin Park, and the first penalty of the second half. I made it 9 in the first half. That's the 10th of the evening that Town have conceded. It is a bit too much, isn't it? You just don't want to be giving any sort of side, any sort of possession on territory like that. It's something obviously Johnny Gawley will want to fix up in this second half for his Town side.
So the Leopards take possession 40 metres out from the Town line. Grant Reid preparing to come on for Workington. Meanwhile, great run through the middle from Alec Tuatavaki. Tuatavaki will look to play this ball 30 metres out from the line. It's a very slow play, the ball. Dwyer shuffles it left. It's then got rid of quickly. Ball out on that side with Frankie Holton. Holton inside that 20 metre line. He'll look to play it now. Lamb following up through the middle. He'll drift across to this right and link with O'Brien. O'Brien through hands to Hodgson. I'm not sure whether he was the man who was expected to get it. He seemed to snatch the ball from the grasp of Milo Hanley, who's in at dummy half. He'll fire the pass into the middle with O'Brien, who gets rid of it quickly to Isaac Louis. Louis tries to get through a couple of defenders, but he's well held by the Town defence. Last tackle signal here, 2 metres out from the line. Dwyer goes to O'Brien. O'Brien out to Lamb. Oh, and then it's just disrupted enough there by Will Evans. If only he'd been able to cup that and take that in. As you were saying, perhaps speed isn't his main asset.
Speed isn't his forte for the Welsh international.
However, he would have still gone his way down the field and made some metres there.
He made some very good metres there with Will Evans, but he did what he felt like he had to do. He felt like if he didn't have that option, then it would have been a walk-in for the Leopards on the left-hand side. And so it's going to be a scrum down, head and feed to the Leopards, just 10 metres out, and they're going to have to put the anchors in here at Town to try and keep this Leopards side on.
Well, Lamb's drifting off to the left, but the ball comes down this right to Hodgson. Hodgson taking on the defence, tries to emerge between 2 defenders. He's 7 metres away from the line, 10 metres in from touch. Dwyer working dummy half, long ball into the middle, soft hands there from Isaac Louis to Itavaki. He's tackled 5 metres out. Dwyer lines it up left. They're coming hard and faster than the Leopards, and it's Louis who's pushed back inside the field of play. Dwyer, long ball left. Lamb just popping the ball out, and they've gone in down that side. I've got a feeling it was Frankie Holton who's ran into that hole there. It was really cute hands, to be fair, from Lachlan Lamb. I thought for a second he was going to do the over-the-top pass again out to the wing. Tessie knew he was waiting, but instead it was a soft pass to his left-hand side, and Frankie Holton the scorer.
He had one of about 4 options there, didn't he? Did Lachlan Lamb? He had the option to go himself and probably could have worked his way over. He had the option, as you mentioned, Dave, for the pass over the top, and then it was just that little soft hand.
21, Andrew Badrock.
I did think it was Badrock, mind you. I was going with you initially, so I did think it was Badrock. So yeah, the former Swinton man, as you've mentioned, obviously plenty of experience in the lower divisions, and of course the Lee Miners man as well. Not a million miles away from yourself down there, Dave. But yeah, so back out there are the Leopards. It's their first of the half, and around about 10 minutes into the second half, it's the Lee 5th of the evening. It is Town 0, Lee 26.
Yes, 26 points to 0. And O'Brien out on that far side looking to convert. He steps right-footed, swings the boot, and it's successful. So 28 points to 0, Town trail. Here at the
Successful conversion by
Irish
number
Community
6,
Stadium.
O'Brien.
Can they fight back? Can they challenge this Lee side like they have done in the opening 8 or 9 minutes of this half?
That's what they will be wanting one day. What John Chigoli's one, that he won't want his side to give in, that he won't want the heads to drop. What he wouldn't, for example, they're not going to want this to become 50 or 60. They're going to want it to keep the heads up, try and get some points on the board, and keep Lee to as many points as, fewer points as possible.
I think kickoffs like we've just seen are going to be key to that, because Workington really contested it. It was a mid-range restart that was allowed to bounce, perfectly placed, I must say, as well by Town, and they're putting a bit of pressure on with the defence now. Lee inside their own half, but bringing the ball down this right hand side, and Myler Hanley, he slipped the net, he's away over halfway, he's got Hodgson inside, takes on the defence himself, goes through Galea, and he's put down 10 metres away from the line, 10 metres in from touch.
I don't know if he took the right option. The simple ball was back into the middle towards Bailey Hodgson, but fantastic work from the Leopards, and they continue to knock on the door.
They certainly are, and that's the latest run from Dwyer in the middle of the field, plays it to O'Brien shipping the ball to this right hand side, to Itavaki, spinning within the challenge, 4 Workington Town players upon his back. Last tackle has been reached here. Can Town hold out? It comes out to O'Brien, who goes to Lamb, and no, they can't hold out. Lee have gone in over on that right hand side. It was a sweeping move into the corner, and I think it's Keenan Brand who scored that one.
We can agree with that one. Yeah, Keenan Brand in on this right hand side corner. Just double check number 18. It is Keenan Brand. Yeah, Keenan Brand is the man to go over in this right hand side corner, and all started initially with that sweeping left to right move, didn't it? Being able to get down this edge, and Andy obviously initially taking the wrong decision, but then immediately being able to switch the pair on the following player, then coming back to this right hand side, having the Town defence just going in zigzags, and eventually able to find the space over in this right hand side corner. Leopards in for their 6th of the evening. Town 0, Lee 32.
Yes, and the answer was no. Town couldn't hold out. They did everything possible, didn't they, but just ran out of numbers. As once again, let's be honest, this is a Super League backline that will be scoring tries like that throughout the season.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think what will, if you can take some solace from it, is that was scored right out in the wing position.
Yeah, they're not getting broken down the middle, and in all fairness to Town, they haven't been broken down the middle all that often. You're not seeing the big fellas poking their nose through, poking the head through. We've got O'Brien's conversion just falling wide of the near right hand side post here at Derwin Park. Town 0, Lee 32. Just double checking because the scoreboard has fallen out of favour with us here at Derwin Park.
I agree with that, by the way.
We'll go with that. So it's round about the 54th, the 55th minute here in the second half on BBC Radio Cumbria Sports Online. And a tough evening continues for John Tigoli's side.
So Carter get us back underway. Another mid-range restart. So it's going to be a tricky one for O'Neill. He don't get much on it. And Town drifting through. The ball is broken for them. They've collected it, and they're just 10 metres away from the line. Real chance here for Workington to apply the pressure. Corkill in at dummy half. Has got Carter to his right and uses him. He ships it on quickly for Stevenson. Stevenson just 10 metres out from the line. Phillips will now look to organise. Goes to Carter. Carter on the right to Weir. It's further wide to Evans. Evans gets away from 2. Ducks his head for the line. Manages to keep the ball going. And eventually their tackle comes in there, and Atiga just 2 metres out. Town stretching everything they can for the line. Here's Farrer. Loves an offload if he can. Callum Farrer too. But this time the defence is good on him. Phillips moves it left to Stevenson. Stevenson across to Carter. Over the top to Corkill, who has to apply the brakes and cut back on the inside. Oh, just for a second, it looked like he was going to show a clean pair of heel to the defence. And still Town applying the pressure. Grant Reid with a huge carry. Just a metre out from the line. Last tackle signalled. Can they get the rewards here, Town? It's brought to this left-hand side. Carter over the top. Can Houghton get in? No, he can't. He's wrapped up. It's going to be a turnover, but enterprising attack in that set from Workington.
Just a little bit slow, I think, on that final tackle. They initially looked to go right and then realised Phillips had come left. So then it was just little pass. I think if that pass had come first time round, Houghton potentially would have had a much better, higher percentage of getting in that corner. But fantastic play from Town, enterprising with the kick-off and being able to regain the ball.
So Town have the chance here to really front-load their defence and put plenty of pressure on the Leopards, who have struggled with their opening 2 carries in this set. They're just 10 metres away from their own line. Play the ball comes in. Dwyer ships it left. O'Brien keeps it moving to Lamb. He manages to slip the ball further wide to Hodgson, and then it's out with Badrock. The ball's gone loose there. Oh, there's a penalty heading in the way of the Leopards. That's not a popular call. I'm not quite sure on that one, to be fair.
I think the lead man had sort of slipped going into the tackle and then has been caught high. It's something that as a defender you probably can't do an awful lot about. You've got to try and just adjust as quickly as you can. Town weren't able to adjust quickly enough. Nothing can be said about the Town defence on that side. I don't think they've done particularly anything wrong. They've just been dealt a bad hand with the slip going into the tackle.
O'Brien finds a good touch near the halfway line. Currently 32 points to nil in favour of the Leopards. Town trying everything they can defensively to hold on to Tuitagavaki. And they've done really well there. They forced him back towards the halfway line. He'd gone a little bit further forward than where he ended up as Lamb drops it back over his shoulder looking for Jack Hughes. Hughes, a colossus in the middle of the field, wrapped up well. Managed to pick a little bit of pace up from somewhere though and stride through the challenge. Referee's patience holds on Phillips, who I think was doing everything he could to slow it down. Ball comes out left. Here's Hodgson. Hodgson onto Badrock. Badrock putting the brakes on. Goes back towards the centre of the field. He's always been a keen ball carrier as Andrew Badrock, and he stopped just 7 metres out from the line. Leopards once again asking the questions. Lamb back for Matty Davis. Back on the field and playing a loose forward role, I feel. So I think he's on in the face of Louis. Oh, ball comes to this right hand side. It was a beautiful, cute pass, to be fair, from Dwyer, and Jack Hughes is the man who gets through for the Leopards. A further try for Lee, making it 36 points to nil in their favour.
7 tries, 7 try scorers for the Leopards. So yeah, they've been able to, they're sharing the points around this evening.
12, Jack Hughes.
Nice of Gary Short on the PA address here at the Town, just to confirm what minute it is in as well for us that have got some media duties to do this evening, obviously with the scoreboard unfortunately stopping. Town 0, Lee 22 it says on the scoreboard. Unfortunately it's Town 0, Lee 36. But yeah, 7 try scorers just shows you they can pretty much score from anywhere and are scoring anywhere at the moment, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, it was a really well constructed try. Lee got themselves within range, and then as I mentioned, a really cute play out of dummy half from Dwyer. Dragged a couple of defenders into him. He kidded them a little bit and then popped the ball out one-handed for Jack Hughes to almost saunter his way over the line. Meanwhile, the goal has been tagged on by Gareth O'Brien. 38 points to nil is the scoreline which Workington Town trail here this evening.
Successful conversion by number 6, Gareth O'Brien, and that makes the score Workington Town 0, Lee Leopards 38.
There's just no point even attempting to argue with the PA system at Derwent Park. It's one of the better ones throughout the rugby league world, let's say that. So yeah, Town, you know, the message from Johnny Gawley will be now this attempt to go short once more to Town. It's gone more than 10, able to collect his own eye Hanley on that occasion, but the message will be there coming now from Town that you don't, let's not make this a cricket score, you know. It's still respectable. Yeah, they haven't got points on the board yet, but it's respectable. There's plenty of effort in this final 20. Let's not let it tell. Let's not this become something that, you know, you look back and go, do you know what, we should have done a little bit better there.
But ultimately this is also a danger zone from a Super League side, isn't it? You know, because Lee, as they found in their competition, they've got to be ruthless. So that's what they'll be looking at. So there's a really interesting conundrum happening in this final 20 minutes as Lee applying the pressure and getting inside the 30-metre mark through Davis on this right-hand side of the field, 20 metres in from touch. Last tackle has been reached from a Leopards perspective. Dwyer picks up, sends it to O'Brien. O'Brien will play it out the back to Lamb. Lamb passing out, and that time that is Frankie Holton striding through a huge hole in the defence. But I think it was the double pump, wasn't it, which helped him to create the space.
Absolutely. I mean, then also the fact that they shifted 2 or 3 players on there, that, you know, Hodgson went out there, even Hanley went out there, who's, you know, from this opposite right hand side. They were able to just get the numbers on that left hand side, and Town weren't able to recover fast enough, but just weren't able to get the numbers in place that they needed to. And yet again, just that little mentioned, just that little double pump, that little fake that just made one defender, you know, jump out towards what they expected the man to get the ball. Holton able to go over for Lee's first duplicate try scored of the evening, but they have scored 8 tries now, Dave.
8 tries now. As far as the Leopards are concerned, that try also took them beyond 40 points for the evening as well. Currently Workington Town 0, Lee Leopards 42. Just over an hour played. I think I heard the PA system say 62 minutes.
You did. Should we see if we can get some scores elsewhere through the Challenge Cup this evening? At the Olympic Legacy Park, Sheffield 12, Wigan 36. Made a big point of earlier being York 2, Hull KR 0. It's now still York 2, Hull KR 26.
Ooh, right. I suppose we'd expect that though, wouldn't we? I mean, Hull Kingston Rovers, one of the best sides in the country.
Second best side, according to the league ladder list last season. So
yes, and they made the grand final as well.
They made the grand final. So yeah, so one of the better sides in the competition. But of course, only a couple of weeks ago, the Knights had beat KR in the Amsterdam Challenge. I know it's a much changed KR side, a much, you know, reserve side, but fantastic to see rugby league played in Amsterdam. All places.
Yeah, not the first time though. You know, there has been internationals that have been played, but they've done. I know that both those clubs worked really hard to do the sort of development work, which we saw this evening. You know, with what Workington have put on tonight. So it's all very, very encouraging. Meanwhile, that kit wasn't successful. And Lee back in possession inside their own half, but that ball was, I didn't think it was played. That's a harsh penalty in my opinion. A really harsh penalty there against Workington Town.
They're just looking to put the final knife in here, Lee, aren't they? They've got their hands on the throat of the Workington Town. They've got them pinned down, and it's nothing at the moment the Town are able to do about it. You can see that the defence is starting to tire out there, and this full-time professional outfit are starting to get on the front foot even more, and they're looking to just ensure they can rack up even more points.
And here's Ethan O'Neill with his first carry of this set. 22 metres away from the line, over to the right hand side of the post. Now bringing the ball through the middle. Couple of passes. What Lee do very, very well is that they manage to get a couple of cute passes in the middle of the field, which stretches the defence, and then they look for the inside runner, and they'll go close to scoring here. A superb run there from Matt Davis, just about halted close to the line. Dwyer, dummies, does the full 360, deserves to get absolutely smashed with the way that he tried to toy with the Workington defence there, and to be fair, Stevenson obliged. Ball worked out left, crash run through from Tuatavaki. Last tackle signalled here. Dwyer to his left hand side. Nice hands once again to Bailey Hodgson, but the defence this time does extremely well. Evans with the communication really did boss that position then, I thought, Evans.
Yeah, he done really well there, did Will Evans to wrap up Bailey Hodgson, make sure that he wasn't going to sidestep back inside, and do him there was Bailey Hodgson on Will Evans, and ensure that Town were going to have a bit of possession, because that's what they've been starved of in the last 10 minutes.
They certainly have, yeah. We've not really talked much about Workington in possession for the last 10 minutes, and that's because they haven't really had the ball, have they? But they're now midway between the 20 and 30 metre lines inside their own half. Duran's back out there. He hands the ball into that middle. Oh, Nice offload.
Was that Callum Farrer? Of course it was.
Farrer,
Of course
yeah.
it was.
You know, he's a little juggler, isn't he? With the ball.
He loves getting that arm free for an offload. There's plenty in this Workington Town side that do. Guy Graham loved to do it in Whitehaven Church in previous seasons as well. So they'll certainly have that in the game this season. Will Johnny Gawley's side.
Stevenson all wrapped up. It's the last tackle that Workington have reached just inside their own half. Carter gets beyond the halfway. Cute little kick as well in behind. Oh, and Leah scrambling, and somehow Brand ends up dropping on it. But I think it was more luck than better judgment, to be fair.
Absolutely, yeah. He was. He didn't get a text about expecting that, and yet again, Town penalised, and you can hear, I should say, what the Town public, the Workington public, think amongst us here at Derwin Park. On it's for dissent. That is a coach killer, an absolute coach killer.
That's also 2 penalties they've given away in this game for dissent.
Yeah. 14 penalties they've given away, Dave. 9 in the first half. 13 penalties. 9 in the first half. 4 so far in this second half. And Johnny Gawley starting to ring the changes once more. Jamie Doran's just been reintroduced for Callum Phillips, and Stevie Scully and Guy Graham's getting ready to go back out there for Town.
Aaron Penny back on for the Leopards as well, and he's took the latest carry to get them just over that 40 metre line inside Town's half. Ball shipped to the left hand side through Lamb and on to Frankie Holton. Holton riding with the challenges, gaining about 10 metres with that carry. He'll play it to Dwyer. Dwyer cuts towards the middle, links with Davies, who in turn finds O'Brien out of the back to Bailey Hodgson. Oh, there's another penalty coming here. That's harsh. Really, really harsh. There was minimal contact there. Minimal contact.
That is
on O'Brien.
I don't like digging out referees. Well, that's a bad call. That's
I'm not convinced with that call.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way.
I understand, to the letter of the law, yes, it's a penalty, but was there really enough there for O'Brien to go down? No, not at all.
It's inviting Lee to attack again. Oh, and Trout gets to that 10 metre mark, plays it to Dwyer. Dwyer sets himself for the line. You think he was thinking of a little offload as he twisted. Just a couple of metres to go. O'Brien, pass in towards the middle. They've gone underneath the post. And I think it's Aaron Penny. Yeah, he's gone under the post there. He really did keep himself low. I mean, he's such a tall man. He's about 6'2", you know, Jordan.
He's done well to get that low, to get under the Town defence.
He's basically crawled on to get that ball, hasn't he? And managed to breach the defence to go underneath the post.
Back-to-back penalties, the pure killer there for Town, isn't it? And penalties, you'd say, not, obviously, the first one, purely their own fault in terms of giving away for dissent, and obviously, as we mentioned, it's an absolute coach killer when you're given sort of penalties like that away. But then when you're given that sort of soft try, that soft penalty was given, and you look and you go, that probably doesn't get given in League One.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think that doesn't get given, and it shouldn't. Where the game is played, whether we whatever level, it shouldn't matter the way it's refereed. But we all know, Dave, you probably get away with a little bit much more in Championship and League One with them sort of dues than you do in the Super League.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with that. And to be fair, I thought O'Brien made a right meal of it as well. I don't like to see that type of thing, to be fair.
O'Brien, and that makes the score Workington Town 0, Lee Leopards 48.
So O'Brien has tagged on another conversion. 48 points to 0 is the deficit as far as Workington are concerned. They've sent this kick restart long. Oh, losing his foot in there is Bailey Hodgson. Tries to burst his way through the challenge. Turns out to be a good one there from Howlett.
Into the final 10 minutes here, Dave. Just confirmed from the Lee Leopards Twitter feed. So the night is almost over. Can Town get some points on the board?
It's been a good effort, this, to be fair, by Workington. As I was saying at half time, there's a lot that they can be really, really proud of in this performance. But some of these things some of the penalties that they've been giving away, they're fixable. But Lee working their way up towards the halfway line. Hodgson to play it to Dwyer. Dwyer ships it right. O'Brien, cultured right boot at that ball, which bobbles up for Galea. Galea turns round, really quick turning circle there, and he's put down 30 metres away from his own line, 12 metres in from touch. a really slow play of the ball, which is rather frustrating some of the Workington Town supporters that are around us. Duran works dummy half duties, pops the ball to his left. There is a penalty here for Town. Offside is the call.
First penalty that Lee have conceded in the second half, which probably just shows you the amount of possession and territory that they have had, hasn't it? They haven't given any penalties away. The Town haven't had the opportunity to try and, strangle them around the ruck and try and get a fast play of the ball. That they've been able to, only concede that first penalty after 30 minutes of rugby league in the second half.
Yeah, very, very disciplined performance on the flip side from a Leopards point of view, which is sure to impress their coach Adrian Lamb. So it's Town who are back in possession. Howlett just finding the going tough, being pushed backwards by Keenan Brand. He'll play this ball inside his own half. Graham with the carry. Did he not go over the horizontal? Yes, he did.
No, this could be interesting because Guy Graham saw yellow for that in the first half.
It's just a quick word with Aaron Penney. But yeah, a little bit of inconsistency possibly there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Guy Graham was penalised for that. He also penalised and Simbin in the first half. I don't see an awful lot of why Guy Graham, was Simbin and then Penny, was it on that occasion? That hasn't been. He can count himself a very lucky man there, can Adam Penny.
Town are 20 metres away from the line. Scully plays it. Duran runs to the right, links with Weir. The defence closes in on him. They tried to do a cheeky ball steal as well, but he kept hold of it really well there in the end, did Don Weir. They continue going down the right-hand side. Once more, it's that man, Kane Barnes. He's really impressed me tonight with his work rate.
Yeah, my Town man of the match is Kane Barnes, but it's what you get from Kane Barnes. He's a solid 7 out of 10, week in, week out, and if not more.
Weir tries to duck beneath the defence, stopped 10 metres out from the line. He was trying to do an O'Brien then, wasn't he? Work his way through. He'll play this ball to Duran. Duran feeds it short to Scully. Scully angling for the try line. It's not forthcoming at the moment for Workington Town. They're trying everything they can to get points. Can they get over on this occasion? It comes to the left to Carter. Carter almost gets bounced over the line by his own player. I think Galea ran at the side of him and nudged him.
Yeah, I think he was expecting either Jake Carter to pass the ball left or, give it a little pop-up pass onto him on his right-hand side. And essentially ended up doing neither there, did Jake Carter. Nearly worked his way over, did the former Barrow and Whitehaven man. And they've turned Lee over, or the Town have turned the ball over here, essentially half a metre away from the Leopards line.
You know what? It's a great place to turn the ball over. That.
Not when you give a penalty away. The 15th penalty of the evening, David. That's been Town's Achilles heel this evening. It really has been Town's Achilles heel. And calling the captain out here, Stevie Scully, is Liam Rush. I imagine it's going to be about the penalty count.
Kindly sponsored by Northern Competitions, has been awarded to Town's number 21, Callum Phillips.
So Scully being spoken to by a match official. He is the captain, isn't he? So he can go up and have that chat.
Yeah, I think Liam Rush actually pulled him out. I think he's, maybe just come on. I understand your lads are getting tired, but they've got to watch what they're doing. And I think that's maybe just a little bit of talk there from Liam Rush, just to get that. Yeah, I understand what sort of game it's been for your lads. Like you said, 15 penalties now. It's something that John will be a little bit concerned about. But you've got to remember the outfit they're going up against.
Probably good refereeing, actually. Just having a quick word, calming everything down before, because these times of games can be so crucial, can't they? You just lose it for a second, and next thing you know, cards are out. So fortunately that hasn't happened, but Lee Leopards have meanwhile worked their way over the halfway line. It's going to be Hodgson to play it to Dwyer. Dwyer will shuffle the ball to his right hand side. Davis links with Penny. Penny all wraps up. Oh, and Howlett, he's gone for the ball steal. Referees decided there was more than one player involved, and I think initially there was, but then they fell out
and they've changed that. That was the rule a couple of years ago. Once you went back to a one-on-one, you could then do that, but they've now changed the law back back to what it initially was. As soon as that second man hits the tackle, it's classed as, you know, a multiple men in the tackle. It doesn't matter what happens. It's it's classed as a ball steal.
In a way, it's another preventable penalty. I feel like I'm on repeat at the moment. You know, we're saying some of this stuff, but Lee Leopards forcing their way forward through Penny getting over that 20-metre line, 10 metres out. Over towards the right hand side of the field, bringing it through the middle once again. It was like an arrow hitting the middle line. There was Davis, plays it to Dwyer out to O'Brien on the left, and then it's further wide. Tessie Newey will touch down at the corner again. Beautiful hands from Lachlan Lamb, and they simply ran out of defenders. They packed the middle at Workington Town. They knew where the danger was coming, but you managed to stop one danger of a Super League side, and there's about 4 more that head your way, isn't there?
Yeah, you stop one, they've got plenty out the back instead, whether that be, like whether it's on that left hand side, or whether, you know, initially where Town had packed down the middle, but just too fast, just too strong, just too much pace in this Lee Leopards side. And that's nothing against Workington Town and the effort they've put in this evening. They've just come up against a very, very good, a very, very well drilled and a very, very professional Lee Leopards outfit.
And as we keep saying, I think there's so many good points of this Workington Town performance. They will more than stand their own when we get round to the league matches in a few weeks' time. They'll more than stand their own against Dewsbury Rams next week. I think that'll be a cracking game.
Absolutely, it promises to be a cracking game. And what they need to do is they don't need to let this get them down. They've got to remember, it's Super League opposition they've gone up against this evening. That's a cracking conversion. Absolutely cracking conversion from Gareth O'Brien. He's judged the wind to perfection and nailed it from the left hand side touchline. That Town 0, Lee 54. They've crashed through the 50-point barrier to have Adrian Lamb's side.
I still feel in some respects it's a bit harsh when you consider the amount of effort that Workington Town have put in this evening, but this is what Super League sides do, isn't it? They can suddenly just come up and hit you and attack you with a different type of play.
Not just the Super League side. Lee done this to sides in their own division when they were in the Championship. Lee scored more points against some sides in the Championship than they have done as a Super League outfit. That Championship side was scary at times when a couple of seasons ago when they got promoted. The likes of Nene McDonald, Papu, obviously he's not out there this evening. It was scary, some of the personnel they had in the Championship.
Yeah, the Lee fans have been rewarded handsomely over the last few years. When you look at some of the personnel that's been certainly pulling on the jersey, as Tessie Newey slips the net, carries the battle forward just over that 30-metre line, inside the Town half the field. Lamb getting his DNA all over this attack as it comes right with O'Brien and then O'Neill. It was a real forceful run that from O'Neill. Ended up being a good tackle from Howlett, but he's given away a set of 6 there. And they're forcing their way forward. I think they managed to get in of leader.
Is it Davis, I think, that has scudded himself over following that 6 again?
I think it may be Davis there, yeah. He just got so quick and got away, didn't he?
Like I say, Cooper Howlett giving it away on the 5 and last. Yet again, it's them things that they're fixable.
They are fixable.
Yeah, they are fixable. When Johnny Gawley sits down on Tuesday or whenever he may do the video review this week, it will be, it's them sort of things. You're not going to come up against that against the championship side or a League One side. You're not going to come up against the ruck speed and the willingness to get in at dummy half and get up and play the ball as fast as you can. You're not going to come up against that week in, week out, especially in the 79th minute of games as well, Dev.
No, I mean, they just hit the fast forward button again, didn't they, the Leopards, and like you say, Cooper Howlett did so well with the initial impact of the challenge, but then spoiled it with trying to rip the ball out and conceded the penalty.
And then it was something I sort of mentioned earlier on, that ruck speed was going to be something that's really important. He was just trying to slow it down as much as he can. On this occasion, it was too much.
By number 6, Gareth O'Brien.
The
Goal kick goes over. And the final hooter goes here at the Fibrous Community Stadium. And it's Workington Town 0, Lee Leopards 60. Harsh in a lot of respects, I feel, that scoreline. Workington Town, much better than that scoreline does suggest. But again, a solid opening and a professional performance from Lee Leopards.
Yeah, absolutely. You can, like you say, it probably, the slant on the scoreline probably does feel a little bit harsh for Johnny Gawley's side. But also, they've conceded 16 penalties, it's ended up being. So at times as well, they've been the architects of their own downfall in sort of such things like that, especially with the preventable penalties. We mentioned that, 2 for dissent, the 6 again there for obviously slowing it down on the 5 and last. And there's definitely been some preventable penalties out there, but there's a lot of positives for Workington Town to take out this evening in terms of the performance on the pitch and also off the pitch in terms of the crowd and everyone's here. No official attendance given, but I would say we're not far off 4,000 here at Derwent Park this evening. And what an opening to what it's going to be a fantastic weekend of West Cumbrian Challenge Cup action. But yeah, it's been a tough lesson for Johnny Gawley's side this evening, but they'll take loads out of that. They'll see what they've been able to do, where they've been able to match up against their Super League opponents and take that into their League One season in the next few weeks.